Hi everybody, it's Jenna from Jenna Stitches. Today is Tuesday, so it is Mandala Tuesday, and it is also Podcaster Spirit Day number 3, which is Crazy Hair Day, which hopefully explains why my hair looks like this. If you're unfamiliar with either of those things, Podcaster Spirit Week is this week. It started the 2nd, which was Sunday. Yeah, it's only Tuesday. And it goes through Saturday. This is something that Kayla from Llama Mama Kayla had created just as a fun thing for all the podcasters to do this week. So every day we have a different Spirit Day type thing. Think about homecoming in school. So today is number 3. Yesterday was Pajama Day and Sunday was Hat Day. So if you're interested and find that kind of fun, watch the rest of the week to see what the other days are. I will also have her video linked in the description box below explaining what it is and what every day is. And then for Mandala Tuesday, this is a crochet along that myself and several other channels have been doing. We are all working on the circular fall mandala blanket. It is a free pattern on Yarn Inspirations by Lisa Gentry. She's the creator of the pattern, and there is also a video tutorial series from Mikey at the Crochet Crowd that you could watch too. I believe this is week number 4 or 5. I guess I should have looked before I hit record. I want to say 5. But I do have a playlist linked in the description below, as well as the written pattern and the video tutorial series. But I have a playlist linked down below of all of my previous weeks of Mandala Tuesday, and I will also have all the channels linked below that are working along with all of us doing the crochet along. As I've said in the previous videos for this, we don't have a specific amount of rounds that we are doing each week. We're all working at our own pace and just kind of working on it when we feel like it. So some of us are a lot farther along than others, but I really enjoyed working on this blanket so far, and I actually got a lot more done this week than I thought I would have. So I believe the last time I showed it, I was on round 35. What was that? Which I believe is these rounds right here. This gray is where I left off. So I actually am now on round 48. Yes. And I'm actually only about halfway through it. I've been working on it today, but I am working today and I am training, so it is kind of hard for me to train and talk to them and crochet at the same time, especially this round because it's popcorn stitches and puff stitches, and I have to count those to make sure they're even. But here's the start and here's the finish. So I am almost done. It's kind of hard to tell, but I am almost done with round 48, and there is only 50 rounds out of the whole blanket. So I'm going to be done with it by next Tuesday. I don't know if I will finish it today or if I'll finish round 48 and then put it aside. But either way, I am going to be done with it before next Tuesday. I know I mentioned in my last video that I wasn't sure if I was going to actually end at round 50 like the pattern calls for, if I was going to continue, because for the majority of the blanket, and I don't remember at this point where I realized it, I was using the wrong hook size. So the pattern calls for a K for the majority of the blanket, but there's a few rounds that call for an I hook, and I just saw I and went with it. So most of the blanket was made with an I hook until I realized it and I switched over to a K. So my blanket is going to be a little bit smaller. I swear, I don't know how my hamster has not had a heart attack. She is up there all the time bothering him. But my blanket is going to be smaller than it should be because of that mistake. And I wasn't sure if by the end of it, it was going to be as big as I wanted it to be, but at this point, and I will try to get as much of it in frame as I can, I'm actually, let me back up, see if that helps. There we go. I'm actually pretty happy with the size of it. I was working on it on the couch last night, and I did have the recliner part up and my feet up, and it covered me from toe till right about here, which was completely fine. Again, I don't really know what I'm going to do with the blanket in the end, but I think that's a really good size for a blanket you're going to use just to cover up if you're sitting around and lounging. But there is a look at the whole blanket as much as you can. I don't even know if you can hear me over it covering my face, but there's a look at it in a whole. And here's a look at the rounds. I just knocked something over that I've worked on this week. So I believe this is where I left off on this gray part. So I've done this black round, 2 rounds of this tealy color, the light blue, the regular blue, the navy, and the mint. And then if you count round 48, it's supposed to be in the teal color, but I didn't think I had enough left to do a whole round, especially of puff and popcorn stitches, so I just switched it to the blue. This is the first row that I have not followed the color that it calls for in the pattern, though. And as I've mentioned before, when reading through the pattern, it tells you what color to pick based on what colors you picked. That didn't make any sense. So you need 7 colors altogether, and whatever colors you pick, you assign them to an alphabet letter A through G. And then the pattern says, let's see, with color C, do this. With color A, do this. And I was going to follow the pattern, honestly, throughout the whole thing, because I wasn't sure at first I was going to, and then I have the whole time, so I was just going to keep it what the pattern called for, but I really didn't think I'd have enough of that teal. I know I have another color very similar, if not the same, laying around somewhere, but I didn't feel like finding it, so I just switched it to the blue, because I think, honestly, it still looks completely fine. So again, there's a closer look at everything I've done. I personally think I made quite a few mistakes on this section, and I'm not really sure why, but I don't know what I did in this light blue into the regular blue, but it did not come out like the pattern says, so I kind of just winged it. When I got to the mint green color, it did come out right, and my popcorn stitches are all on track for where they're supposed to be. So whatever I did, I ended up fixing, but it definitely was a couple rows of fudget to get it to work because I messed up somewhere. But I think it still looks completely fine, and I do really, really like this section. I think out of the whole blanket, this has been my favorite section to work on. Just because there's so much variation between each round, and surprisingly am really, really enjoying the popcorn and puff stitch row. Mirabelle, leave Reggie alone. Poor thing. I usually don't, but for some reason I really have been enjoying doing the popcorn and puff stitches. And with these, I didn't actually read the pattern of how many times to like yarn over or how many double crochets to do in a popcorn stitch. I just went with 5 with both. I know a lot of pattern creators make their puff stitches differently. It may be yarn over 3 times, 4 times. I did 5. Usually I don't. I usually do around 4, so I'm surprised I went with 5. There's probably some in here that are 4 instead of 5. Because again, I'm trying to work on it while I'm training, so I'm talking to them and kind of silently counting in my head. So I'm sure there's some that are going to be different than the others. And I usually always do my popcorn stitches with 5 double crochets, so that's what I did. So I don't know what the pattern calls for. I didn't even look at the stitch instructions to see. But there it is. Again, I really, really enjoyed this section. I think that's why I did get so much done on it this week, because they were all fun stitches to do, if that makes any sense. I mean, it wasn't just your basic double crochets or the windows. We had some cluster stitches. We had some of these stitches. We had some spike stitches, some treble crochets, some V stitches, and then the puffs and the popcorn. So I really, really enjoyed it. And again, I think at this point it is at a size that I'm comfortable with. So I'm going to finish around 48 up here in just a few minutes if I have time. I still got 15 minutes left in my lunch, so I should be able to finish it up. If not, it will definitely be done at some point today. And then I only have around 49 and 50 left to go. So definitely keep an eye out for my Mandala Tuesday for next week, because it is going to be the end of the blanket. And I'm excited for it. It was a lot of fun to work on, and I know I've mentioned in my other videos that the colors I chose for aren't my typical colors. I usually do not care for blues, but I do really, really like the way it's turning out and the colors to it. And I actually showed it to my husband for the first time yesterday. Didn't realize I never showed it to him before, but he saw it for the first time last night because I was asking him how he felt about the size. And he really liked the colorways too, which his favorite colors are blue and black, so makes sense that he would like it. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, I forgot what I was going to say. It is Podcaster Spirit Week, so if you're interested to see what we got for the rest of the week, definitely come on over and watch every video. I am going to have a video up every day this week just to participate in the Podcaster Spirit Week. If you're interested in the previous Tuesday Mandala Tuesday videos, the playlist is linked below, and definitely go check out the other channels that have been working on the blanket too. I think it's really interesting to see how each blanket looks so different. Every single person that's working on it had a completely different color scheme and have been doing completely different things. So out of the several channels, I don't even know how many at this point, that are doing it, and the people outside of YouTube that are doing it too, because some of the podcasters are featuring people who don't have channels, who sent pictures via email or things like that. Every blanket looks so different from the next. So even though we're all following the same pattern with the colorways we're choosing, they look so different from each other. So I think that's really interesting, and I really enjoy looking at everybody's blankets every Tuesday, just because none of them look anything like each other, even though it's all the same. So definitely check out everybody else's videos. Again, I'll have them linked down below. But thank you all for watching. If you like this, please like, comment. If you're not subscribed, please do so. And everybody have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.